Hey, this is JC and welcome to Small Brick City, where we want to help you build a Lego city regardless of the space you have. This is part 2 of a video series called Building a MOC from Start to Finish, and in this project I'm working on a police post. If you haven't seen the first part, do check out the video link in the card above or in the description below. So this is where we left off after the first video, where I felt I completed the external structure of the police post. However, like any project, it's always good to leave it for a couple of hours or overnight, sleep on it, and revisit the project to see if improvements can be made. And I can say, looking at it now, there are many improvements to be made. I'm actually not really happy with this design, but I think it can be fixed in a couple of ways. So the first thing I want to do is actually to just change all these recesses. I don't think they add much value. I think this looks quite boring and almost clinical, or I think the real thing is it doesn't really look like a police station or police post in this case. Imagine if I take this out and I didn't have these police vehicles or the police minifig. You might not know what this is. And personally, I do want the structure or the architecture or some aspects of the exterior design to make it look like what it's supposed to be, and I want a building or MOC to always be identifiable. So I'm going to make a couple of changes. First, I'm going to change these recesses. I'm going to change this grill part over here. The reason why I'm changing the recesses is not because of the visual variety, but it actually does eat into the internal space, which then creates a problem for detailing. And I think in this particular build, it doesn't add to this being identified as a police station. Or police post in this case. I also do not like how this roof is. I think there should be an overhang. So I'm going to increase the size of the roof so there's an overhang of about 1 or 2 studs. So I haven't decided. It's definitely going to be bigger, but I'm not sure how the exact overhang will be. I'm going to figure it out after I build it. So I'm going to make these changes first, and then we'll look at the detailing. So the first thing I'm going to do is to work on these aspects over here. So let's get started. So here are the changes I've done. I've added in this translucent red and trans blue brick here. So it looks a bit like a siren, but now I think if you look at it, it's more identifiable as some kind of a police office or post. I added in this shield over here to give it some kind of official crest or emblem that you might see in government buildings. So I think this fits. I also moved this police decorated towel from here to here, because when it was on this side, it just seems less significant, and off to the side, having it nearer to the center of the build, I think makes it pop more and gives it a bit more importance. But I think this is now better. I've also freed up the inside by taking out those offset pieces, so that makes the detailing easier later on. But overall, I think this structure is now better. It looks a bit more like a police post. So the next thing I'm going to work on is expanding this particular roof, and I'll need to add in some gray plates on either side just to fill up the space of the roof, and I will have to restructure the supports as well, and we'll see how it goes. So I think I've got the size of the roof right, because this is the back. I don't think there's a need for an overhang, because I'm also thinking of putting a ladder and some kind of structure for power or some sort of communications tower. So I'll have the overhang for the front for 2 studs wide, which is great because it's over this part of the sidewalk as well, and it overhangs on this side over here. So I think this looks better. I'm going to build the roof back as per my original design, and we'll see how it looks like. And here we have the roof. I've expanded it, kept to the original design that I wanted. I think this works pretty well, and let's put it on and let's have a look and see how that works out. I think that's pretty good, as you can see over here. Let's change the angle and look at it from all sides. And here we have a more front view look at the new build. I think this is looking much better as a police post. Now there's an overhang here, so we should take advantage of the overhang, but we also want to give a reason for the overhang. If not, it will look quite strange. So I think some kind of lights will be good. So we have spotlights or floodlights. So for example, I've got these on modified clips and brackets, and these will fit well if we put them somewhere here. Let's just try this out for now, and this is to light up the police garage area, for example. So that comes out like that. And for the front, we just need more of a downlight, and I think I have 2 of these here. And we won't need one here, I think, because it's just above the door, and we can assume that these trans bricks are lit. So maybe we can have one. Let's do one over this side here first. Maybe come out here like that. Or maybe we could balance it out and put it either side like that. Or maybe we should have one more set to put it in the middle. But I think this works on. Let's have a look. This could work, but I personally do not like to block this, but it works. I think it's fine. Maybe I'll do one more and add it in the middle here in just a bit. Let's just take a 1x2 brick for now and see how that works if we put it here. I think that could work. After all, there is some kind of symmetry, so I'm going to stick with this for now. So that works by adding this here. Let's move to the back, because I mentioned that I wanted to do something for the back because it is a big plane. Now I could have put some kind of a wall creeper, but I think that doesn't necessarily enhance this particular build or push for its identity. So what I want to do is have some kind of a roof access. So I need to put a modified plate with clips somewhere here so that I can clip on a ladder. So if I have a ladder like that, so this is a ladder piece with another shorter ladder piece, and that would give me enough height to more or less reach the roof, and that's to access the facilities I'll have on top for maintenance. So what I need to do is to build in the clips somewhere here. So I'm going to build in the clip. If I build in the clip, now the issue with this is, of course, I need to build it underneath. So let's pull this up, and I'll integrate this clip into this plate over here. And now we have a ladder access to the roof from the back. I think this would work for now. Now let's see what else we can put in. I'm thinking of the roof detail, so let's pull this off for now. And the usual things I'll put on top would be air conditioning ducts, some electrical system, and I shared small builds like these in a previous video. You can check out that link in the card above or the description below as well. So this is what I've done just to add some detail, an air conditioning compressor, and this is like some kind of electrical junction box. And there's a reason I'm putting it over here, because if I line this back here, maybe I'm going to shift it down one, because I'm thinking of having some kind of satellite communication structure. After all, this is a police post. So if we use a structure such as this one over here and I place it here, that looks pretty good. Maybe I can move it by one. Yeah, that will work. So what I can do now is to remove this, maybe put on a plate here. So I'd have to change this up a bit. Let's see if that works. That's off by one. We'll get to that in a bit, but let's build some kind of a structure, some kind of an antenna. So something like that may work out pretty well. So it makes sense there's something behind like that. And if we look from the front, it looks like that. So that's why I want to line up this electrical junction box with this particular antenna, and then I'll need to retile this as well. Alright, and here we have the finished back. So we have this little tower here. We've tiled the roof and I actually just switched this ladder about, so now it's straight. Otherwise, that particular clip was in the way and it just didn't look so straight. I think this works pretty well. So if you can imagine, we have the police vehicles over here. So we've got the squad car here, the bike here. What we should have is some kind of barriers or safety barricades, and I've got two of them here, and I imagine this is just to be placed as safety barriers at the door, and it also forms some kind of a parking space for the vehicles. And I will be tiling all this, so this will be a sidewalk and this will be kind of a pavement, but I do want to have a safety line, so I'm going to use these yellow tiles and I'll place it, let's say here, just like that. So this is a dividing line. Just imagine it's a painted yellow line, which is very common in any kind of a parking structure. So that goes there. And that looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is to tile up this area. I'll be using dark gray tiles and light gray tiles. The idea is to create some kind of a sidewalk, and then it goes to the parking ground over here and at the back as well. So let's do this. And here we have now the tiling done for the outside. I got a bit of creative and did even some parking lines for the squad car over here. And of course, this is for the motorcycle. I think that looks really finished and neat. There's a bit of a difference of a light gray large tile over here for the door. And for the back, instead of just tiling it straight and make it neat, I decided to give it this rugged look, as though this is just the back and the work area of the overall station. Now with this exterior done, we can now go to the inside. So here we have the interior of the police post. Remember this counter over here? We had this hinging counter which is built on a modified brick on this side of the wall, but there needs to be a support here, and I just need to tile that with a white tile. So let's look for a 1x1 white tile, 1x2 white tile, and we will cover that exposed brick. And what that does is it creates a support so that when the counter is down, it is nice and flat, perpendicular to the floor. And that's what we have over here, and you can see it from this side over here. So what we need to do now is to think about the interior decorations. Personally, I always leave the tiling to the last, so I do want to figure out where the furniture goes. And generally, after you build up the interior of your MOC, you can figure out where things should logically go. Let's start with the most obvious, and that's the jail cell. The first thing I want to do is to take a decorated tile in the form of a padlock and a keyhole, and I'm going to place it onto this door here. And there we have it over there. We should also add door knobs for the rest of the doors, and I'm going to go with a white square tile and a stud, and that will go on the side door as well as the front door over here. Previously I had this door trans blue, light blue, but because I added in this siren, I didn't want it to pull focus from this translucent bricks here, so I changed it to just clear transparent, and I think that works well. So now let's continue with the jail cell. Now it's a really small cell. It's because it's just a holding area. I'm going to have a bench. I've got 2 log bricks, a towel and a plate, and this will form a bench, and that will go on here. And there we have the bench at the end where people can sit or kind of half lie down to get a rest when they're in the holding cell. So let's come to this area over here. This will likely be an kind of an office, an interview station. So we will need some kind of office furniture or filing cabinets. And I'm going to use this. This is something I pre-built, but it's supposed to look like filing cabinets and a drawer. It uses these modified bricks, which are 2x2, and jumper plates. And we've got a brick or plate in between. And over here is another modified brick, but in a 1x4 form. And let's just pull that out so that you can have a look. And there you have. That is my filing cabinet. This is 4 studs wide, and this can go into a corner here, even though this area is 5 studs wide, but that's fine. We'll of course need some kind of an office table. So I've created this really small table, Now, because it's 3 studs or 5 studs wide, the table can only be 3 studs wide. It's pretty small, but that's so there's enough space for a minifig to pass through. And if you want to have space for a minifig to kind of just pass through furniture, you need a minimum of 2 studs. 3 studs is preferred, but I don't have that space, so I'll just go with 2 studs. And this is the table I created. It uses modified bricks in this grill form over here. These are 2 headlight bricks with a jumper plate to look like a drawer on the side. And we've got this round brick over here just to give it a bit of design. And I put jumper plates on top so that I can put something on top. Let's say some decorated tiles such as a newspaper. That can be here, and maybe I'll put a mobile phone like that. Or some smart device where the cops can check on information. And this would go here. Now I'll need to put 2 plates, and the reason for the plates, 1x2 plates, is because I'm going to have tiles for the floor, so I do need to raise it up by 1 plate high to fit, and that will work well. So I'm going to put it here. Not going to press it down hard first. Oh, I will need actually another plate here. So this plate will not be a 1x2, but I'll use a corner plate like that because of that particular round brick as well. So that will go in here. That makes sense. And of course we need chairs, so I've got 2 chairs over here. All right, that works. Now, since this is the main counter where people come in, we should have some furniture as well. And what I'm going to do is to create some kind of a little cabinet and a shelf system. So we've got cabinets. Again, this is using a modified brick. There's a 1x4 plate below, and above we have 2 jumper plates. And this would sit just in this corner over here. But I'm going to place something on a jumper plate. It makes sense to have some kind of a computer. So I've got a computer set up over here. And why not a classic coffee mug for the officer on duty. And that would go over here in this corner. I think that's more or less about it. There's really not much space. I don't want it to be too cluttered. I just want everything that's necessary, just to be symbolic. But to make it more interesting, besides the floor tiling, we should work on some wall tiling, or not floor tiling, but wall tiling. So I'm going to add in a modified brick like this over here. So I'm going to have to break up this wall, and I'm going to put it inside. So let's do that first. First, let's put the decorated tiles on this side, and this is for the general public as they come into the police post. So I think a wanted poster makes sense, and this is the Joker. Let's see if the height is right. Yep, it's about right. And I'm going to use this tile. This isn't a printed tile. This is a sticker on a white tile, but this comes from the extra pack. That's a new sticker pack. And I think having the Wi-Fi sign makes sense, so people can use Wi-Fi if they come into the police post. So let's put everything back, and let's see how it looks like from here. I think that's pretty cute. You come in, you see those signs, that works. All right, before I put anything back, let's see if I want to put anything else. It might make sense to put a clock as well. Let's see how much I would have to rebuild. I would have to rebuild significantly. So let's not do anything here first. Let's come over to this side. I think there can be something here, maybe a TV. So I'm going to put a modified brick over here as well. And that should be about, maybe I'll make it go higher, it's fine. So let's put it here. And for TV, I'll just assume the TV is off for the moment, and I'll just use this 2x4 tile on a 2x2 plate. That looks like a nice TV, and I'll just put it here. That makes sense. That looks good. Now, I want to put something on this wall over here, and I think what would be interesting is to put some kind of equipment. So I created this rack over here. This is basically a modified brick with clip bar elements, and I put walkie-talkies. So 4 walkie-talkies, and and I want to mount it into the wall here. So it's as though before the cops go out on patrol or to answer to a call, they can go out to the side door, but before they do, they pick up some walkie-talkies. So to do that, I will need to insert it over here. So let me break this apart and put this in. And here we can see the walkie-talkies at the door. There's still enough space for minifigs to go or pass through in and out, so I think that's fine. So let's come back to here. Should I or should I not put a clock? Why not? Just for the sake of completeness, I'll put a clock over here, but this time I really do not have any more modified bricks in white, so I'll use these grey ones here. And here we have the wall clock put in place, slightly higher so everyone can see it no matter where you are in the station. So that position makes sense as well, because someone over here can see it through the glass and everyone can see it, so that's great. So I think we've done enough detail. Now that I've placed all the furniture and done the wall decorations, I can finish this off by putting tiles, and I'll be using light grey tiles with some jumper plates so that I can attach minifigs in place. So here we have the completely detailed flooring. I added in these black stripes just to give it a bit of a different texture, since that is the public area where you walk in. So it kind of demarcates this area from the rest of the police post, and I think that works out well. I turned this chair to the side just to give it a bit more of an interesting angle. And as I mentioned, I'm not going to finish the inside of the jail cell because I'm just going to keep it rough as it's supposed to be. I think this looks pretty good. Let's put everything together and see how it looks like. And here we have the completed police post. I've changed a few more items. First, I've added in that 1x2 plates over here. So now we have 3 down lights completed. And I also added in this parking sign. This is actually a sticker on a white tile, and it comes from the extra sticker pack as well. It's basically mounted on a bar or clip element and a modified brick with a bar that's built into the corner of the building, just like that. But I think that's really appropriate because it shows where all the police vehicles are parked. For the back, I also added in a trash can just for a bit more detail, and I changed around some of these tiles, added some cheese stove pieces just to make this a bit more secure. Overall, I'm really pleased with this police post. It's even better than I imagined. I have a couple of minifigs planned for this particular set, but I'll save staging the minifigs in the police post for the next video where I'll do a complete review of the set. I hope you enjoyed this process of seeing how the police post was built and notice how much changes that were made from the first video to the second video, which just goes to show you should always take a break as you're building a MOC, revisit it, and you'll often find that you have many new ideas that can make it even better. Personally, I think this looks so much more like a police post, and it's aesthetically more pleasing than the original design. Let me know which is the favorite part of the police post in the comments below. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell. You don't want to miss the review video that's coming up next. Thanks for watching, and check out these 2 videos before you go.